All right, what's up, your dirtbags? Welcome to episode 102. So happy to have you guys here. My name is Luke Egerbrotten. I will be hosting this episode of the Dirtbags podcast. As you guys saw in the thumbnail and in the title, we have the man himself, Arnaud Hild, joining me in studio. He'll be coming up here in just a few minutes. The episode is so awesome. I think you guys, if you don't know much about spider excavators, this one is going to be the one to listen to. Arnaud is one of the most well-versed people I know when it comes to spiders, and it is just so fun to dive in. And so have him coming up. He's with NPA Specialty Equipment, and he's been doing this for a very, very long time. So really cool to dive in there. He's also a great friend of mine, a client of Phaser, and we've really gotten to know him quite a bit through the years. So excited for you guys to listen to that. We have a few huge updates for you guys before we dive into the episode. And this is episode 102. So obviously we had our episode 100 with the man, Luke Payne. Your guys' support was unbelievable. Thank you for all the shout outs on Instagram, on Facebook, just in these different Facebook groups even. I mean, it's just been a blessing. 3.5 years and 100 episodes of just doing everything we can to try and give you guys value. And we totally see your appreciation, and we feel it every single episode. So thank you guys for listening. Thank you for supporting. Obviously, as we ask to like and subscribe and all that stuff, you guys always jump on that. When we ask you guys to reach out to our sponsors, you guys jump on that. We're just seeing a very, very positive uptick in the podcast and in just the engagement from you guys. So thank you so much. For those that saw, which there was quite a few of you, we're giving away $500 cash to somebody that shared on their story that they were listening to episode 100. So we had a big stack of you guys do that. So I put all the names into the free spinner, the wheel, spun the wheel, and we have that announcement. As I mentioned on that episode, we would announce it 2 weeks later, which at the time was going to be 101, but now it is episode 102 because we had a bonus episode. So without further ado, thank you guys for all the shout outs. I think our channel and our page grew just from that big push. And the $500 cash prize, you guys might recognize the name. Spun the wheel and it landed on the 641 excavating team. So that is John and Morgan Van Zee. John had an episode with the Dirtbags. Can't remember the exact number of it, but go check that out. John and Morgan have been day one supporters of the Dirtbags podcast, of Phaser. They even show up to our Phaser fundraiser every year, and they drive like 8 hours, and they are just salt of the earth people. So John and Morgan, you have $500 coming your way. I will wait till you hear this announcement, and then you shoot me a message, and then I'll send you the money. Just to keep it a surprise there. So huge congrats. And for anyone listening, go give them a follow if you're not already. That is on Instagram at 641 excavating. And that is John and Morgan Van Zee. So congratulations, guys. And happy to do that. And kind of cool. That comes straight out of the Dirtbags bank account. That's not my personal. That's not Phaser's account. That is revenue that we've generated from the podcast, and that doesn't happen without you guys listening. So pretty cool, pretty special, and excited to hear what you guys do with the money, and so we can report back to it on the next episode. Congrats, John and Morgan. A few other updates here. We've got we just hit 400 subscribers on YouTube, which is huge. Thank you guys for jumping on that, subscribing on YouTube. Obviously, we put a lot of time and effort into the video side of it. Brandon and Keegan behind the scenes doing all the editing. We try and make it a bit of an interactive show a little bit. You'll see different graphics. Obviously, we highlight our sponsors in there, Instagram handles. Like there's a lot that goes into the back end of it. So if you're not subscribed, even if you don't watch YouTube, it means a lot if you jump on there and subscribe. We can see who is subscribing, which helps a lot. And then, of course, if you do listen, just drop a comment on the episodes. That always boosts the algorithm. Just let us know what you think of the episode. Even if you just drop like Let's Go or LFG in there, it helps a ton, boost our episodes and boost our videos. So thank you guys for helping us reach 400 subscribers on YouTube. A couple other things. The Phaser fundraiser, I mentioned it on the last two episodes. You guys have been huge in helping for that. For those who don't know, we have our big phaser fundraiser coming up on October 30th. It's Thursday night in Detroit Lakes, Minnesota. At Detroit Mountain. This is our fifth fundraiser we're doing. And every year it supports the Boys and Girls Club of Detroit Lakes. I mentioned it on the last podcast, and a few of you reached out and said, count me in for a bronze sponsorship. And that's a $500 sponsorship. We're looking for as many of those as we can get from our listeners and from our phaser clients. And we just can't thank you guys enough. All this money goes to support the kids of the Detroit Lakes community in my hometown. I wanted to read off a few of you guys that jumped in recently, and we have more coming. And for those listening, just shoot me a text if you want to jump in. 218-234-7345. Would love to have you in as a sponsor to help this great cause. Massive shout outs here. And a lot of these you'll recognize as they're in the industry. Moritz Excavating, JCR Excavating, the Snow Jobs Podcast, Sutton Outdoor, Ryan Archer, Horizon, Anderson Septic, Innovative Lawn and Landscape, Sapphire Construction, Badger Earthworks, and Ultimate Excavation. And a fun thing with Ultimate Excavation and Jay is Jay texted me, he said, all right, and he's a great client of ours. And he said, all right, if I get 2 legitimate snow leads by September 30th, I'll jump in for a bronze sponsorship. So hopefully we obviously get those leads. I think we'll make it happen. But if anyone's listening and you're in the Connecticut area and you need some commercial snow removal, go hit up our guy at Ultimate Excavation and Jay Ryan Flesh there. So massive support from you guys listening to the show. The money we generate goes to the kids. Last year we did $40,000. The year before we did $30,000. This year, we're looking to top that and much, much more. So can't do it without all your guys' support. So like I said, shoot me a text or shoot me a DM on Instagram if you'd like to support. We have 3 levels, a $500 bronze sponsorship, a $1,500 gold sponsorship, and a $3,000 and up diamond sponsorship. So huge, huge, huge thank you to you guys for all the support there. With that, I don't want to hold you guys any longer. Thank you for listening. Obviously, this is now, we came out with an episode last week, came out with an episode the week before, and now this week. And so really trying to push myself and our whole team in the next few weeks to put out a couple bonus episodes for you guys. You all deserve it. We can't thank you enough for listening through the whole episodes, reaching out to our sponsors, and really just getting value from these episodes. We're going to start bringing back questions, the Q&A. So as you're going through these episodes, as you're listening, shoot our Instagram a message or a DM if you have any questions you'd like to hear on the podcast. And of course, we'll give you a shout out when you send those in. So without further ado, we're going to dive in to episode 102 on this beautiful day with the man, Arnaud Hild from NPA Specialty Equipment. Let's roll the music. Let's have a great day. Let's get after it. Let's get her done. Let's go. All right. What's up, you dirtbags? My name is Luke Eggebrotten. I am so excited to be back here in a different studio. The main studio I usually record from, which is our house. Olivia and I are watching 2 dogs right now, and I thought for sure they'd be barking during the interview. So moved houses, borrowed somebody else's, and I am here with a new backdrop, but same mic, same setup, and so excited. I know something we've talked about a little bit, but there's not a whole lot of information out there, and that is the topic of spider excavators. And I'm so excited to bring in a great friend of mine. He's a client of Phaser and just the man that knows everything about spider excavators. I'm so stoked to welcome in the man himself, Mr. Arnaud Hild, into the Dirtbag studio. How we doing, brother?
Cheers, man. Thanks for having me.
Is that Jack and Cran or whatever?
You know it. Jack and Cranberry, man.
That is crazy. So I came and saw you. You were in Globe, Arizona. Mm-hmm. And obviously we'll get into what you guys were doing out there too with the spiders, but we got lunch after at this
Yep.
at this place. And yeah, Jack and cranberry juice. I'd never heard of it.
You didn't even try that day. You should have.
I know. I think I was a little scared, but yeah, you swore by it and you said, "Hey, this'll change your life."
That's great. That's great. I got tired of Coke, man. So Jack and Cranberry.
Yeah, I love it. Dude, so excited to have you on the podcast. I know you and I have been great friends for a long time. You've listened to the podcast for a long time, and the way you and I were doing it is just working on when is the best time to have you on. And it was either going to be right before my trip this summer or right after. And just how the cards laid out, it made so much more sense to bring you on as the official episode 102 after the trip and everything, because we have some big new updates. We've got some Con Expo news, a little bit of everything with you. But for our listeners tuning in, you can give Arnaud a follow on his Instagram at Arnaud Hild, and that's spelled ARNAUDHILD. And go give him a shout. He's got some of the coolest content out there. But Arnaud, would love to hear from you. Give us the 30,000-foot view of what you're currently doing, and then we'll kind of backtrack a little bit into the history of how you got into this industry.
So we started NPA Specialty Equipment. It's been almost 2 years now. There's Nico Meunier, who's also French, and Pierre Russo back in Hawaii. Kind of joined force on starting something not different. That's what's out there. I mean, we don't do anything different except the fact that we have spiders, but um, just trying to get something for the customers as far as niche,
Mm-hmm.
not bringing conventional equipment, whether it's skid steer, traco, loader, dozer, and all that. We wanted to build something for the specialty project. This is what we call NPS specialty equipment. It's having the specialty equipment for the special project, that finding solution to the problem you can have, whether it's going to be, steep terrain,
Mm-hmm.
difficult access, wetland, all the good stuff that a spider excavator can shine into. So we really wanted to focus on that, and we had a good meeting in Hawaii. Sat down, decided to rock and roll, and the rest is history now.
Yeah. And for people listening too, so typically, and we work with, of course, lots of excavation companies. Typically, you'd have a company, they might have a like 120-mile radius within a local area that they would travel to, they would mobilize to, and really target that area. Where NPA and really the spider excavation industry, it's national, right? And so it's so specialty that you guys can go anywhere. And I would like to touch on that a little bit of the types of environments you guys go to. I know right now you're out in Utah. I believe you're out on Powder Mountain, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, so Powder Mountain, and then you guys are out in Hawaii. So ski mountains, steep slopes in California, landslides. Like, what is the typical? I guess it's probably hard to say day to day, but what is the typical landscape that you guys see?
Yeah, it's usually steep terrain for the most part,
Mm-hmm.
where you cannot dig an access road to bring your traditional excavator, or it's going to take too long, or forestry services not on board with it, or there's so many different stuff that can come into place for that. So typically, yeah, it's steep terrain for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
Or we do a lot of drilling. Sometimes we're not on steep ground. We can be drilling on the flat road, over the road, but you have so much more hydraulic power into a spider excavator that it makes more sense to bring that machine into it instead of a conventional machine.
Yeah. And what I think is really interesting, and I guess, yeah, let's dive into it right now, is the versatility of the spider. And not only is it the different angles and the different slopes you can be at, but the different attachments that you guys even utilize on the spider. So, what type of capabilities do you guys use them for, and what type of attachments are you seeing? And then obviously, like, what do you guys have in your fleet that makes you different or stand out?
What we do a lot of drilling. Pierre does a lot of that in Hawaii,
Mm-hmm.
and Nico does a lot of that too. That's their background. They come from Janod, which is an old company that no longer exists. They were drillers, and and all that. So we do, just like yesterday, I was doing some masticating here in Powder Mountain, and today I had to go remove some trees. So we just swapped the masticator out, put the grapple saw on it, which is a grapple with a chainsaw. It's all hydraulic, so you can safely, fell trees and all
Mm-hmm.
that. So we have that. We have regular grapple to move boulders, anything, any type of material. Next week, I'm going to put a bucket back on it to go do some backfill, some trenching, digging, slope shaping, a little bit of grading. So you can really just do anything you want. It's an excavator with the hydraulic power that a bigger machine could have, essentially. So you got 3 hydraulic pumps on it. One is dedicated to your attachment, which is called the power line. So you can push up to 5,000 psi of hydraulic, and I think it's 220 liter per minute of hydraulic flow into it, which is pretty big. A regular excavator doesn't always have that. You can eventually hook up something on it,
Mm-hmm.
but you're tapping into the hydraulic pump of the boom, the drive. So you're losing power. You not as efficient as a spider could be, in my opinion. I'm sure there's some people out there that can argue that, but that's
Right.
the way we see it. So really, the sky's the limit with this machine. Whatever you can think of can fit on the boom of an excavator, we can make it fit on this machine, and even
Yeah.
more. Even the skid steer attachment, for example, anything that you can think of, as long as you can make the pin to hook up to the quick connect to the road tilt, you can put anything you want.
Yeah. So you guys use rototilt?
We do, yeah.
Okay,
Every machine
awesome.
has a road tilt on.
And forgive me if this is a dumb question. Could you run a spider like without a tilt rotator, or does that defeat the
Yeah,
purpose? You
yeah,
can?
you can. And there's also other people that run spiders out there that would argue that with us, like, hey, it's stronger to hook up directly to the boom versus having the rototilts more
Mm-hmm.
fragile and all that. I mean, I've seen rototilt on spiders with 6, 7, 8,000 hours and never had an issue, never had a
Right.
failure or anything like that, because you use your boom a lot to move with the spider. Like, for the most part you can drive, but after that you do what's called the walk. So you have an extended hoe, an extended boom on the spider. So you push yourself or pull. So you always constantly pushing and pulling yourself, putting weight, stress on it, and all that. So yeah, I mean, you can run a spider without it, but once you had one with it, you don't want to remove it. Rototilt is just a game changer.
Yeah. So I want to go back a little bit. You said walk.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, most people listening probably think they know what that means with the spider, but how do you walk with the spider excavator? And then also, what are you doing inside the cab that makes that happen? And how are you adjusting your different pressure points, of course, and balance? Because these slopes you're on are very dangerous. So how do you go about walking with the excavator?
So it's called walking, but you always have 2 wheels. We have all wheel drive machines, so 4-wheel drive, same size tires. You can have 2-wheel drive spiders with only two tires in the back and just 2 claws in the front. When you walk, you're essentially pushing yourself, trying to stay as parallel as you can with the slope and just pushing yourself up the hill or walking down the hill. So your bucket or whichever attachment you're gonna have at the end of this boom is gonna be basically your lifeline, or the winch if it's really
Mm-hmm.
too dangerous, unstable, or too steep. We all have winches on our machines to just to tie off to something, if it's necessary.
Gotcha. So if you were going up, you would tie to like a tree or something, just as like an extra case of
Yeah, and anything that
safety.
you can find, another piece of equipment, if you have an
Mm,
access from the top of the slope, it's not always the case. A tree, I don't like to do that because you
yeah.
never know what's underneath, until you really put stress into it. Or we do anchors a lot. So we drill our own anchors, grout it, and then we can tie off to that. Or what we've done before too, it's called a dead man. So you'll dig as deep as you can, put a piece of I-beam that's 5 or 6 feet long, bury it with a big cable and shackles into it, and use that as your anchor point, like they do on snowcats. They have dead men's at the top of the slope, and they go hook up the winch to that to help them out. So we try to be creative.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have to add snatch blocks here and there to make a different angle, but yeah, for the most part, to whatever you can hook onto.
All right, you dirtbags. Need a couple seconds of your time to give a massive shout out to our episode sponsor, Eljen Corporation. We can't thank Eljen enough for sponsoring the Dirtbags podcast and being such a huge supporter to put this podcast on and provide this value for our listeners year in and year out. So, huge thank you to Eljen. For over 4 decades, Eljen has been leading the charge in innovative, reliable, and engineer friendly septic solutions. Their signature GSF system is NSF 40 certified, ASTM tested, and designed to thrive in even the most unpredictable soil conditions. With its multi-stage filtration process, a smaller footprint, and lower maintenance, it's become the trusted go-to for contractors who want performance they can count on. What I love about Eljen most, and as you guys probably heard in our 4th of July special with Drew Nicolai, their support for the veterans of this country is unmatched. And just what they do to try and help these veterans transition from being deployed to coming back into regular civilian life. And they employ their entire tech team is all veterans and have served this wonderful country. So, huge thank you to Eljen, not only for supporting the Dirtbags podcast, but for all that you do for this country and for the industry. If you guys want to learn more, of course, the easiest way, you're already on Instagram, go give them a follow at Eljen Corporation. That's ELJEN Corporation. Or you can, of course, go to their website, which is eljen.com. And if you heard them on here, shoot them a message, let them know you heard them on the Dirtbags podcast. They would really appreciate it, and so would we. So, massive thank you to Eljen for supporting and sponsoring this episode of the Dirtbags podcast. Let's get back into it. Yeah. And I mean, you mentioned it there. You guys have to be creative, but that's what makes your business so different. And obviously, huge shout out to Pierre, Nico, and yourself for going down this business journey. But it's the opposite of copy and paste. Like, I'm sure every single job you get takes, actually, if you don't mind walking me through, how does that process work? Does somebody call you guys and then you need to fly out there to check out the job site?
Yeah.
If you
We
could
do
walk
that a
me through
lot. We
that.
try to do it. I mean, everybody always try to send you a KMZ or pictures.
Yeah.
Picture don't do it justice, as you can
Yeah.
tell. On my Instagram, I always try to take cool picture of the machine, where it's super steep, and it turns out it's just flat on the picture, So you can never really tell from a picture. So yeah, we do fly a lot everywhere, go look at job site, walk, and for the most part, customers, they usually have already their idea of how the project's gonna be or go. And 8 times out of 10, you come in, you put the machine on the slope, and everything is just different, completely
Yeah.
different than what the customer wanted. Often we get called, they usually already either try to put another piece of equipment on the slope, on a wetland, in the river, or something. Then it's not something that people are used to it, whether it's a parking lot, a road, or something like that. You get called and you're the last resort, and people either love you or hate you, because of course what you do with your spider, we can do it with our machine. You hear that a lot. And so you have to convince people that the solution that you can bring them is what they need. Like, there's a lot of welding stuff like that involved in everything we do. I mean, if you get a new attachment that's not made for a spider, you need to climb somewhere with it, you're gonna have to add a foot, that's the way we call it, to be able to push yourself with it, because without your bucket or something, you're nothing on a spider. So if you need to climb something super steep, you need to push yourself. Well, now you need to do some fabrication for that attachment to work, and all that. So yeah, you got to be creative.
Wow. I mean, what an exciting day to day, because there's probably no day that looks the same. I guess no week that looks the same maybe, but I'm sure a couple days you're doing maybe a clearing job and that looks similar. But each new job, it is just a different problem to solve.
It does look similar and it feels similar, but it's never like when you're sitting inside the cab of this machine. I mean, even just the movement
Hmm.
is something that you have to think of. It's not like just tracking forward or backward. You got to reach something that's 5 feet away from you. You can't reach it. Well, you have to move the entire machine. You don't have, like you said, you always have to watch for your balance and all that. So you don't have a counterweight like a regular machine.
Yeah.
All your balance is the way you feel it, the way the ground is underneath you, and just you got to be creative just to move and get to that point. Sometimes a straight shot is you're looking at it, you're like, oh yeah, I mean, I can go from here to here, no problem.
Hmm.
Midway through the slope, like it was like a ridge you couldn't see over. There's now big boulders, trees, stuff that you cannot touch or remove. So you gotta go a different route, go side hill, go uphill. It's just, yeah, it keeps it interesting.
Yeah. And would you say a lot of the work you guys do is fixing other contractors' work, or does it depend?
Not a lot. It happened a couple of times, where they usually, like I said, they tried, like to winch a track or down the slope to dig a trench or something, but
Yeah.
they ran into either rocks or cable breaking or
Hmm.
everything being completely unsafe because those machines are not made to be on a slope like that. Working at an angle all day long, it's not the best for the machine. A spider will be studied for that. It's made for it to be in that weird angle all day long without breaking, stressing, or and being safe. It's really made for that.
Yeah. And would you say that so the and to my knowledge, the tilt rotator was definitely a European, started there. I believe it was Sweden maybe, and then but it was huge in Europe. Like all the standard excavators in Europe, if you go over there, have tilt rotators. Is that similar to the Spider? Did it start overseas and then it's slowly making its way out to the
Yeah, so
West?
the spiders did start it overseas. There's like three major brands of spiders. Chinese are not copied the spider excavator too, so China makes its own spiders. But there's not too many different brand, which makes it difficult on a day-to-day basis, to run an operation. It's not like Cat or John Deere. Then you break something, you have a
Hmm.
technician within 30 miles, that can come and help you out. So it did start it over there. Everything is metric on it. Everything is in liter versus gallon. Everything is in bar versus PSI. So you can
Hmm.
change all that now in the computer. They made progress to it. The older model couldn't. But yeah, it's still very, very European. So
Yeah.
the brand that we run, Menzimok, is from Switzerland. And we everything is built out there. Nothing is built in the US. Everything is shipped
Hmm.
into containers. So the biggest spider that Menzi makes fits into a container, which is crazy to me. You can go
Wow.
from 8 feet wide to over 15 feet wide once the machine is completely open. So they build it out there, ship it over here, and
That's got to be tight in the container, isn't it?
oh
Because
yeah, man.
those
When
machines
you
are
drive them
huge.
out, you just hear the tires rubbing on the sides, and it is tight, but it fits. It's a couple inches
Hey,
here and there. You got to be careful when you unload it, but it does fit.
hey,
And
if it
here in
fits, it
Hawaii,
ships. Send it.
that's all we move it. Between islands, you can be in
Wow.
Maui doing a project. Now he's got a project on Big Island or Oahu. Then
Hmm.
just put it back in the container and ship it like that.
So the Menzies that I came and saw in Globe, that was the biggest they make, right?
Yeah, the
Okay.
555X. Yes.
And I told you this. It was way bigger than I thought from the pictures I saw.
Yeah.
It because and I don't know what it is, but when you see the pictures, it kind of looks like a transformer, of course, and it looks like this giant toy. But then when I saw you rolling up on the railroad with the high rail system, and then you come off and you drive up, this thing's like way bigger than I expected.
It is. It's a big machine. It can be super small and fit
Hmm.
in between nothing, or it can be wide. It's super obnoxious, like,
Or tall. I
or
mean,
super tall. Yeah.
like,
I mean, I think you can go up to 8 to 9 feet of water and still be completely fine, like without any water going into the engine compartment or anything like that. So each wheel, each legs, how you call it, you can move it the way you want it. There's no
mhm,
self-leveling in the cab. Like you can see into the forestry industry use that a lot on their Timco Timber Pro, like the cab will self-level itself. So you kind of have to adjust it, but for the most part, the machine does it itself. In a spider, you can put it the position you need to, you want
mhm.
to, and that's the beauty of it. You can do, I think, 22 function per hand, hydraulic function per hand,
Wow.
plus you got 3 pedals, sometimes 4, plus all the bypass and every switch then you can have everywhere, to change attachment, to do all sorts of stuff.
Yeah, man, this is so good. Before the next piece I want to dive into is how you came to know so much about spider excavators. But before that, I want to touch on, I believe something that makes NPA different is this high rail system.
Mhm.
So you guys can go on the railroads and
Yes.
the wheels, to my knowledge, right? So the high rail system goes on the railroad, but then the wheels actually drive the
Yep.
system, right?
Yep. Yeah, your wheels drive the smaller wheel that are set on the rails, which is kind of crazy to me. And we are the only one right now in the US to have this machine. There's some in
Hmm.
Canada and Europe and all that, but I don't think, to my knowledge, nobody else has one yet. But it's I really wanted that setup because I
Yeah.
had contract already before in PA, and I wanted to keep my customer happy. So it's been great to have it for sure.
Yeah. And as we go into your past here and we figure out how you got into this industry, one thing that I've learned from working with you guys and just learning more about spiders is that it's a small world
It
and
is.
everyone kind of knows everyone.
Yep.
And if you could bring me back to how you got into that specific industry, and then let's walk through maybe some of your different roles and how you got to this point today.
I mean, I first ran a spider in France when I was still in France. It seems like almost every company had one in the boneyard. An
Hmm.
old machine sitting there that's paid for, that probably runs a month out of the year, but it's there. They want to keep it and all that. So I played with that a little bit while I was running equipment out there, and came to the state in 2014. I was working in oil and gas at the time. We had that huge layoff when COVID hit and all that,
Yeah.
and I was just sitting at home with my wife, and I told her, I was like, man, I'm kind of tired of chasing the pipeline, like it's great money, it's fantastic, but it's a lot of work. It's difficult condition. We live with my wife in a camper in Wyoming for a year and a half. I cannot take her camping no more for that reason. But I was just looking online of who does that here, because I didn't see that many, and I was in Wyoming looking at those hills, looking at the power poles, the ski area and all that. I'm
Hmm.
like, man, surely there's somebody somewhere in the country that has machine like that. So been on Instagram a little bit and online, found a website. My first boss was Brian Pombo at All Mountain Construction, one of the best guy out there as far as spiders and all that. He's got so much knowledge, it's crazy. I still have a great relationship with him.
Love that.
And I just sent him an email out of the blue, like, hey, just found your website, just curious if you need an operator. And I think a day after he replied and said, yeah, actually I am. So
Mm.
can we meet up? I met up at his shop and stayed working for him for a couple of years. And yeah, that's how I started.
So that was in Wyoming?
I was in Wyoming at the time, but he was in Colorado. So
Right. Okay.
I
So
moved,
he
I
was in
moved to
Colorado.
Colorado, and I mean, I didn't move. I went out there and just living in Airbnb and hotel room like I'm doing right now. And yeah,
Man,
just got the job and started working for him.
I suppose too, there's are there very few people that can operate a spider, or What are
No,
what's your take on
everybody
that?
can operate it.
Uh-huh.
Everybody can run it.
Okay.
As far as operating it, it's a different, doing something with it, it's a different story, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, everybody can jump in and figure it out. It's not that hard when you're on the flat ground or playing in a wide open area and all that. You know, it's when you start to go into technical stuff that, I mean, the only things that you can trust is yourself, like
Yeah.
your knowledge and your gut feeling. I mean, that's how I go with, you know, like, does that feel safe? Am I stable? Is that gonna go? I mean, there's so much stuff that you can't control. um as far as the ground, you know, the ground can give up. I worked on landslide where we're still an active landslide, just sliding underneath you and all that. So there's stuff like that you can't control. But I mean, yeah, that's I don't know.
Yeah. So you started working with him. That was after 2020, a couple years. Then what did you end up doing after working with him?
Went back home. I had my first child. You
Mm-hmm.
know, we bought a house in Texas with my wife. Moved in Texas in 2014, and I just love it out there. So, bought our first house in 2021, I think. Yeah, stayed working for Brian for a little bit, and then I wanted to kind of slow down on the road life. You know,
Mm-hmm.
tried that. I had a little business in Texas doing some skid steer stuff, but it wasn't. I don't know. I just didn't like it anymore. You know.
Yeah. All right, you dirtbags. I need to interrupt this incredible episode 102 with the man Arnaud Hild with an important announcement from our guy, Charlie Huff. As you guys know, Charlie Huff is our insurance guy for the dirt world. He's been supporting the Dirtbags podcast for quite some time now, and a lot of you guys listening use him for your insurance needs. We even use him at Phaser, and we recommend him to anyone that's in the dirt world, whether it's landscaping, septic, excavation, to give Charlie a call, give him a text, see if you can compare plans. He'll take great care of you. So give Charlie a text. His cell number is 435-764-4833. If you even just want to compare plans. So appreciate you guys for at least leveraging that opportunity, reaching out to him, just asking questions. Charlie's one of us, and he's been in the industry. He's worked in the industry a long time, and he's here to help and serve your insurance needs. So, once again, his cell number is 435-764-4833, and that is our guy, Charlie Huff. Now, let's get back to the episode with the guy, the man, the legend, Arnaud Hild. So you buy the house in Texas
Mhm.
and you're in Texas. Then what does that look like? It's 2021, 2022.
Yeah.
Do you transition or because you mentioned you started doing some skid steer work yourself, but then you didn't like it. So then you went out to California.
Yeah. It's not that I didn't like it. It's just, it wasn't what I wanted to do anymore. I liked it, you know, doing some
Mm-hmm.
grading, driveways, horse arenas. I had a lot of work, but the reason why I moved back home was to be more with my family. And now I'm leaving the house at 4 a.m., trying to beat the heat in Texas during summer, you know, coming back
Yeah.
at 9. Kids are in bed, wife is close to being in bed, you eat dinner by yourself. Saturday you still working, Sunday you try to go run job, look at jobs. Sunday night you try to do estimate. It's just like I felt like I had even less time being home that actually when I'm
Mm.
on the road, you know, because when I'm on the road, I'm staying out there for 4, sometimes 5 weeks pushing, you know, without going home. But when I go home, I take a week or 10 days off,
Mm-hmm.
and we get to enjoy 10 days, you know, with the kids. They're still little, so if they don't go to school, it's not a big deal. My wife works from home too. She has a little business, and so we actually do enjoy our time together. We take time to do stuff, you know, like there's nothing better than going to watch a movie on a Tuesday night when nobody's
Mm-hmm.
out there, or go to the trampoline park with the kids when there's nobody, instead of trying to wait for the weekend like everybody else is. And it's just, you feel more into that rat race, at least to my
Mm-hmm.
feeling, you know, that I kind of enjoyed that. Not more, it's still difficult to be on the road, especially with the kids growing, but that's how we met with my wife. That's what I do, you know, like I move country, I keep traveling, I love that. But I'm trying to build something for my kids too, you know. So I just
Yeah.
feel like the hustle is where you can be, you know, and that's where we try to shine with NPA. It's you call me and you in a bind. Yeah, I might not be able to be here tomorrow because I have a machine in California and you need it in South Carolina, you know, but I'll make sure to be there as soon as I can, you know. And this is why we have multiple machine, multiple attachment. It's just to be ready to be on the go all the time, you know. Like if one breaks down, I can bring another one. They're all the same machine with the same attachment, the same couplers and everything. Makes our life way easier like that.
Yeah. So when you I guess for the audience too, how many spiders do you guys currently have? And then where are they all stationed? Like, do you strategically station them at different parts of the country, just ease of transportation, or how does that work?
Yeah, we try to keep at least one at all time closer to the West Coast. You know, I work a lot in Arizona, Colorado, and all that. So if I can stage one in Arizona, that's great. If I need it, I bring it.
Mm-hmm.
But as of right now, I have one here, one in California working, one in Colorado working, the two in Hawaii that was originally Russo, you know, but it's also part of NPA2 and Russo, if I can say, you know, if I need it, I can always bring it from Hawaii.
Yeah.
If Hawaii needs more, we can supply them with what we have as well, you know. But they are close by a truck with attachment ready to roll anywhere, you know. It's
Mm-hmm.
usually you go from job to job. Our shop is in Telluride. We have one out there right now, but other than that, it's on the road for the most part, you know. It's just like everything else. You do your maintenance on the road, you do everything on the road.
Yeah. And I feel like that's such a big difference with this business compared to most of our clients that own an excavation company. It is, they have a shop and they have
Yeah,
people that check into the shop. They do maintenance on the equipment. They wash
yeah,
equipment there. And I've spent time with you out on a job site too, and these are everywhere. But you have to be doing the maintenance like in the field
you
and
do.
knowing what you're doing, and also this machine won't go back to a shop. This will go to the next job.
Yeah, or you can go back to the shop if there's major
Yeah.
problem or big repair that needs to be done. We tried to do that in the winter, but this winter was so busy. I mean, no machine were just sitting there waiting. We were just working. We did one big maintenance on one machine in the shop, but other than
Hmm.
that, I mean, the two others in Hawaii never stopped. I had another one on a landslide, and it's just, yeah, you have to be self-efficient. So when we travel, we have a semi with the machine attachment and everything, and usually there's me or Nico or whoever else is there, you know, with the truck, a trailer, a step deck, flatbed, you know, and a bunch of toolboxes, more attachments, spare parts, just all that travels with you all the time.
Mm.
You kind of have to, you know, like I said, you can't call Cat to come and do your service and all that. You have to be you married to it. Like it's a hate love relationship with those machines. Like when everything goes good, it's fantastic. When it goes bad, I mean, you can be somewhere with no cell service, like you probably saw today. I mean, you texted me
Hmm.
and never replied before what 3 p.m. or something. Well, if anything happened there, then first of all, you need to hike out to the truck. Hopefully, it's not too far. Jump in the truck, get to cell service, then get to your trailer, get your tools. You always try to keep a little bit of tools with you in the machine, but it's difficult, you know, and fix whatever needs to be fixed. And it needs to happen right now, you know.
Wow.
And if it's broken on a slope and you can't move the machine because that happens, then you need to become even more creative to bring the parts there, remove it, just be able to work on it. So yeah, it can be tricky sometimes.
Yeah, and you think about there's a reason you have this specialty equipment on these job sites is because these job sites are some of the most difficult terrains. They're remote. They're in the mountains,
Yep.
and yeah, you're up in climbing volcanoes and ski resorts and just these places where there's nobody or there's no cell service, so there's no Napa Auto Parts down the
No,
down
no,
the
nowhere
street.
nearby. Or I mean, just for fuel, think about it. You need to burn fuel in order to run those machines. So every time you take a hike to the machine, you make sure you pack at least 5 to 10 gallons of fuel with you. That can
Mm.
get you by an extra hour or so until you can get back to the nearest road. Bring your truck or your side by side with more fuel on it and fuel it back up and go back, because it's those machines go back to the yard every day. They don't come back to the parking lot where everybody meets every day. If you're on a project like we are, it's a ski lift. It's longer than a mile. I think it's a mile and a half long. You know, it's just on slope, remote by yourself.
Mhm.
You know, you're gonna be there for 2 or 3 weeks at the time. Then sometime you're lucky and there's a helicopter around or they're flying stuff already. So you try to fly, I don't know, a drum of 50 gallon of fuel, then you stage it here so you don't have to hike that far. And but all that, it's a big part of the job. You know, it's not just sitting in the machine and running it. It's not
Mhm.
like when you walk around every morning, you look at everything, you know, every pin, everything that moves, everything that stabilizes you, everything, like you really take a close look at it, because you know that if anything breaks, you haven't really looked at it in the morning or something. Well, it can be a major issue, you know, it can be weeks without running. That's a lot of money then you leaving on the table at this point, or you can kill yourself, you know, like
Yeah.
that shit can happen. So you got to know your machine, you got to listen to it, you got to hear every weird noise that it makes, and God knows that it does make a lot of weird noise and all that. So you really have to you have to have some sort of passion to run those machine, you know, because once you're in it, it's like I said, it's not just a tracker where you have somebody that comes and grease it for you or do all
Mhm.
that. You Most of the time you're on your own. The only communication then you can have will be a radio or satellite phone, you know. So
Wow.
you just try to be prepared. And it's long days, long hours, you know. If you're gonna dig for 10, 12 hours, you know that you got 45 minutes of hike in the morning, 45-minute hike out at night, you know, it's long days.
Wow. Yeah, and Arnaud, you talked about this a little earlier in the podcast. You alluded to the balance of having a family and also trying to build something special for your kids and for your family.
Yep.
Walk me through that. How, and I'm sure so many people listening are also wondering, and there's no perfect answer, but how do you have that relentless mindset to build something with Nico and Pierre, to build something special while also not missing out on these opportunities to spend time with your family?
Um, I think it takes the right partner in your life for that. I mean, my wife, like you talk a lot about your wife too, you know, you need to have somebody that supports you.
Yeah.
And she's got to know that, yeah, I mean, I talk to them every day, you know, I FaceTime my kids every day, at least trying to. There's probably a couple of days where I couldn't, you know, sometime you are in Alaska and they are in Texas or Hawaii, Texas, time frames different. You're out in the middle of nowhere, you kind of miss on the call, you always try to catch up on it, you know, but you do it for them. At least that's the way I see it. I do it for them, not for me. I mean, I can care less about buying me the latest trucks or anything like that. I just want to have nice stuff and be able to build something for them to so we can all enjoy it together, you know. And I feel like that's one of the best solutions as of right now, for me at least. You know, I'm not
Yeah.
speaking for anybody else. I'm sure there's plenty of people that can do that at home and all that, but I don't know. I guess I'm just not satisfied with the traveling still. You know, I still like to go, and they were with me for 2 months this summer.
Mm-hmm.
So we got lucky on this project that, you know, you can put the lodging included. Lodging wasn't expensive at all. We had 3 people with us on the job site. So we needed a bigger house, obviously. So we just rented an even bigger house. And I have my wife and my kids with me for 2 months straight over here. And it was the greatest thing, you know, like they
Yeah.
get to take a little vacation, take a break from the summer heat in Texas, be in Utah. I got to see them every night. We got to go see different stuff, and it was great. I think it is great. I think it is great. If I get a chance to, if I can take them somewhere, I will. You know, sometimes you go on a job, it's only a week long, 2, 3 weeks long. So it's kind of hard to move the
Yeah.
family around for that. And sometimes you go places where you don't want them there, you know, like in
Globe.
California, it was just like so expensive to just get the shittiest Motel 6 around and all that.
Yeah.
You don't want your kids and your wife there, you know. So it's a work-life balance that so far it's working, I guess. It's
Yeah.
not
Well,
always easy.
yeah. And it's a lot of sacrifice from both ends. And I
Sure.
feel like I can do my best to speak for your wife and for you because, you know, I see it on both sides too, because, you know, your wife and your kids have to uproot where they're currently at and then come to Utah, but then they also get to spend time with you. And it's just cool to see that that's you guys almost have the same mindset and the same goal that, hey, we're in this together. We want to
Hmm.
build this together. There has to be some flexibility and some sacrifice there, but and it's not always going to be easy. Like you're not always going to have a house with a pool, and a lot of jobs there's going to be in areas that you probably don't want them in. And so I think the moral of that thought is just if you have an opportunity to make something like that happen, just trying to be flexible enough to have those conversations and seeing if you can make it happen.
For sure, for sure. And I mean, I feel like I'm more efficient sometimes being by myself too over here,
Hmm.
because that's all. And granted, my wife worked twice as much as I do, with two kids being 5 and 3, like she's got a handful, like
Yeah.
she's a workhorse and she's the hardest working person that I know out there. But when I'm out here, like I said, I can just focus on my job. I know that my wife's got everything taken care of, as far as the kids, the house, and everything that goes
Yeah.
into our private life. Like she's fantastic at that. She's awesome to that. So it gives me time to focus onto the business and trying to build something, because I, I've got a clear mind and I know that my wife's taking care of all the other things.
Yeah, that's huge, man.
It is.
It's been so fun getting to work with you and Nico, of course, and Pierre, and it's exciting to see where we can continue to go. One thing that I wanted to bring up too is obviously we talk a lot about Con Expo on the show. You and I were having a phone call the other day, and sounds like you guys might be out there at the show.
Yeah, we're trying. It's work in progress. We're trying to
Hmm.
get a booth out there, get some exposure, and get to meet a lot of people.
Yeah.
So we always go. We went out there. We weren't in business together at the time, but we met out there at the last Con Expo,
Hmm.
and always wanted to be out there. I feel like it's the place to be. As far
Yeah.
as networking, I think it's huge and it's fun. It's fun.
Yeah. It's
So
so
we're
good.
trying to get a booth out there, put a couple machines out there if we can, and yeah, just rock the brand out there like that.
Yeah, I know you and I were ideating this, and I'll just bring it up. Nothing's set in stone, but if everything goes well and you guys do have a booth and you have a couple spiders out there, you and I were talking, it would be fun to do potentially like a dirt bags, like a mini meetup
Mhm.
there at the booth. Obviously, we could get everyone listening and us together at the booth. We could do potentially like a happy hour, just all these great ideas. And really, at the end of the day, it's just bringing people together. But
Yeah.
you might as well bring people together and look at these spider excavators.
Oh, that'd be sick. Everybody's welcome, man. That'd be sick.
Heck yeah. So, and for everyone listening, you know, when we get more information on that too, and even with the booth and everything, we'll send it out to you guys. But there's definitely a big wave of people that want to be involved
Hmm.
with others that listen to the show, that want to meet up and just do something while we're there. It's Vegas. You can get lost in the noise and the drinks, but you want to have some valuable conversations and some networking and just have a bit more valuable time together than just the classic, like go play blackjack, go
Yeah,
have too many
exactly.
drinks, and then go home and be like, uh, I didn't even get to meet anyone or learn anything.
No, definitely. There's that and the NRC that we're trying to be present to put a booth out there. So we're working on that as well. And yeah, no, I think it will be great, man. If we could do that Con Expo, I think it will be sick.
Yeah. Oh man, that'd be awesome. Um, so I feel like we touched on it a little bit, but you came over from France,
Mhm.
and Nico and Pierre are French as well. Do you go back to France at all? I believe all the machines you guys have are from France, or
Mhm.
or were they just shipped from France?
They ship from France.
Shipped from France. So when you, I guess maybe a question of like, um, do you have to go there ever to like check to get any parts, or is that all just shipped over and taken care of?
No, no, it's for the most part shipped over. So Pierre's French Canadian. There's a big
Hmm.
difference there.
Yeah, sure.
Nico and I are French, but I haven't been back in Europe since 2016.
Mm,
I just, man, we are in the greatest country in the world. Like
heck yeah.
it's crazy. don't even feel the need to go back out there, like, yeah, I mean, I miss some of my family and friends and all that, but I feel like life is here now. We got so much stuff to do over here that I
Yeah.
don't go very often. Nico goes a little more. He sent his son out there quite often too, so he goes back and forth a little more than I do. I don't think Pierre goes to Canada at all either. Like we're just all busy focusing here on doing stuff, that is just, I mean, I don't need to, man. This is
Yeah.
right here.
Man, and you and I had that conversation the last time we met up in Arizona. Uh, just love to hear it. Like, what do you love about America? And this is coming from somebody that obviously wasn't born here, but you've been here now since 2014, and you just spoke so highly of America. And
Mhm.
obviously, I'm a huge, huge fan of this beautiful country. But want to hear it from you. Like, what do you love so much about this country?
The freedom is real, man. Like people that tells you that there's no freedom or such things, they should go spend a month in France, where I'm from, or something. I'd gladly send you to work and meet people and all that if you need to. But I mean, the sky's the limit here. If you have an idea, if you have ambition, you can become someone or something, or create something, like it's just, there's no limit. There's
Mm-hmm.
absolutely no limit here. The more you want to work, the more money you're gonna make. Not like in France, for example, like if you look at the taxes out there, like more than half of your salary goes to the government and all that. The more you work, the more taxes you're gonna pay here too, to an extent. But there's just no limit here. It's crazy. It feels like this country never sleeps. Like
Mm-hmm.
you always have something open, somebody out working. It can be anything. You don't have to question it. In France, everything will be closed on Sunday and Monday for the most parts, because they like to have their 2-day weekends. And over here, you can get parts at 10 p.m. if you need to, and it's
Mm-hmm.
just, there's work everywhere. Everywhere I
Yeah.
go, there's a sign on the door saying that they're looking for people. So there's just no limit, man. If you are willing, you have a little bit of a work ethic, and you're gonna do great things over here.
Yeah, man, that's so awesome. I think it's sometimes needed to hear for some people of just how blessed we are. Just to,
It's true, man. I've been here 11 years, and the only regret that I had is never come earlier than that. I showed up, I
mm.
was 24, still young and stupid. Now I'm just stupid. But it's,
Now we're a little bit older and stupid.
yeah, yeah, it hurts a little more in the morning when you get up now. But no, it's just any crazy idea that like opening just the only spider excavator company, with like 6 or 7 of them in there.
Hmm.
Like you don't see that everywhere. Like a lot of people will add a spider to the fleet of their
Hmm.
existing equipment and all that, like I think that was a crazy idea to me already, and I mean, who knows what's gonna come next. I mean, anything you can think of and want to do it, it's doable. You
Yeah,
have the resource, you have the money, you have the customer base. I mean, everybody's looking for something here. You're gonna
yeah,
find somebody to buy your products or your service, or it's just the hustle then you want to put into it.
yeah. The customer base that you mentioned is amazing. We had Josh Newell on. He's from Northern Ireland, and
Mhm.
he just described just very simply how small their country is compared to the US. And he put it into perspective. He's like, our entire country of Northern Ireland has 2 million people, or I think that was the number, where the US has like 340 million.
Mhm.
And
State of Texas is bigger than my country.
really,
Yeah,
oh
the
my
state of
gosh,
Texas is bigger than France.
that's insane. Yeah, it's just sometimes that puts it into perspective. And then also another big thing that I love about this country is at any time you can get any environment, any type of person, any type of food, really, and
Yeah,
it's all within this one country. And it's I don't care what anyone says, it's very easy to travel throughout the country.
it is. And if you want a different view from your window, different landscape, different weather,
Hmm.
climate, like you got it all, man. You have it all. You just got to pick and choose what you want to do,
Yeah.
where you want to be, or I don't know. It still amazes me how lucky I am to be here. And how very little I just saw of the country and how much more there's out there. I'm
Yeah,
so stoked for that and excited,
dude, just getting started. I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, for everyone listening to this is obviously we've got Mr. Arnaud Hild on. This is episode 102 of the Dirtbags podcast. Give him a follow. Also, you're on LinkedIn too, so you've got a great LinkedIn page. And then on Instagram, of course, it's ARNAUDHILD.
Yeah.
And go shoot him a follow. Reach out, Arnaud. I know you and I were talking about this too. What we're going to cover on the podcast here, even in the next 15, 20 minutes, and what we have talked about is so surface level of what we can talk about in
Oh man.
10 hours or
We could make a Joe Rogan podcast out of that.
right.
3-4 hours, no problem.
And so for people listening, like, and if you have any questions you want to ask Arnaud about the industry, about spiders, about just following up and letting him know you heard this podcast, like definitely shoot him a message on Instagram or LinkedIn. And I know Arnaud, you and I were talking like you'd love to have these conversations, but it's so fun when to have a friend like you when we can relate on so many things, but also be in totally different totally different parts of our life too, of like how we grew up or how we got here, but then just to connect like that. It's been super fun. And you've been, I don't have it pulled up, but I think you've been working with Phaser now for over a year.
Yeah, I think so.
And I know our team has loved working with you guys. And part of that too is just, the people you guys are and the person you are and how you treat others, especially our team. I know they just have so many great things to say about you and just I know they keep us all organized, of course, with all the homework items, but it's been good.
No, man, big shout out to Phaser, man. You guys are just rock stars. You make our life so much easier. I mean, in 2025, if you have to have a digital print out there, and I mean, as far as digital, I know to turn on my laptop, send an invoice, go on Snapchat and stuff like that, but I'm nowhere near as good as you guys can do with the website that we have is fantastic. I get nothing but compliments out of it. It's just the people that we work with at Phaser, they listen to you, to your need. They're not trying to shove something down your throat that you don't want. They want to build something the way you want it. And that's what I love about it, And I'm super bad at replying to text and all that. And I apologize for that. But no, I mean, you guys are just rock stars.
Dude, I appreciate it. And it's honestly like that shout out you gave is to our team. Like, as you know, I'm so much less involved in the weeds. And usually it's just you and I or our clients having these higher level conversations. But our team has just been dialed in when it comes to what we do every single day for our clients. And a lot of it too, believe it or not, like a lot of people aren't great at replying to text or communication, but I think what our team does a great job of is just understanding that because we work in this industry and just knowing and giving some grace and empathy to like, okay, just want to let you know, here's the follow-up items. You can get to them when you can. Let me know if you need anything, but not be like super pushy of like, hey, we need this done right now or we
I
quit.
mean, numerous time I text either you or Josie or Haley on a Sunday, not thinking it's Sunday, and because that's where everything kind of slowed down. I mean, even though we've been working 7-12 over here, try to wrap up some projects, it feels like Sundays is where you send your emails and all
Yeah.
that stuff. And I text them, forget about it, and Monday morning sharp, you get a reply about what you needed or what they need from you.
Mm-hmm.
Just a reminder, hey, we asked you that a few weeks ago already, and they're just incredible. We're super pleased to be working with you guys, and now we're looking forward for the future for sure.
Yeah, man, I appreciate that so much. And it's going to be really cool to see what we can do in the future. And really this getting to work with NPA was so interesting because like I mentioned earlier in the podcast, typically an excavation company has a radius and there's a
Yeah.
local area and there's a certain way to, I guess, market that type of company where NPA specialty equipment, it's national. So the SEO program is a national SEO program, and it's if somebody in Telluride needs a spider excavator, how do they find that? If the well, that's a bad example. If somebody in Washington needs a spider
Mhm.
excavator, they search the internet, how do you get shown up there? So it's been really fun just to like, how do we move the needle on a national level with such a specific service, and it's such a specific skill set that you guys have. um, I guess the question I have that I know some of our listeners were wondering is like, how do you, with expanding a company like this, do you continue to add more spiders, or is there another machine or another piece of equipment that you start to add in?
That just depends where work is gonna take you, you know.
Hmm.
Um, are we getting busier with the railroad? Are we getting busier with the landslide? Are we getting busier doing veg management? We always gonna try to stay into, yeah, adding another spider if needed, a smaller one, you know, two-wheel drive maybe,
Hmm.
different model, different stuff like that for different application. But I mean, as of right now, I don't think we're planning on buying anything anytime soon. We got plenty of work, plenty of machine. It's working
Hmm.
good. So yeah, we're gonna try to stay in that optic, you know. Another piece of, we really want to stay, like I said before, like the specialty equipment, you know. I don't
Yeah.
want to go and buy a 309 or something like that. It wouldn't make sense for us,
Right.
and that's not what we go after, you know.
Yeah, I think that's very wise and smart. Just do what you guys have put so much time and focus and resources into and what you're good at, and focus on that. And yeah, you've got a solid fleet right now. You can go anywhere in the country,
Mhm.
and just continue building that way. So with,
More attachment, I will say we're
yeah.
probably gonna keep buying attachment because we never have enough. And every day I'm thinking about, man, I could have used that here to be a little
Hmm.
bit faster than that. So yeah, attachment definitely. We're gonna keep adding attachment to the fleet. But that just, again, it depends. You know, we got about 5 mulcher, 4 drills, grapples for each machine, buckets for each machine. What else do we have? That's about it for now. Grapple saw,
Hmm.
you know, just a bunch of stuff like that. Hammer, rock hammer, just like what everybody else will have in their toolbox, but adapted to a spider excavator. Like I couldn't take my drill and put it on a regular excavator just because the pin size will be different and all that.
Right.
The hoses will be different. We run biodegradable fluids in there too, so that will be different. We'll have to drain the entire system on the attachment itself before you put it on the other one to not contaminate the other machine and all that. So
Right.
no, just really keeping focus on that, the special projects. That's what we want, and that's what I think we're good at so far.
All right, you dirtbags. I need to take a couple seconds of your time again to give a massive, massive shout out to our sponsor of this episode, SludgeHammer. You've heard me talk about them before, and they are absolutely incredible to uh, really pushing this show, the Dirtbags podcast, into further innovation and continuing to push what we can do here. So, huge thank you to the whole team at SludgeHammer for all your support. For those who don't know, at SludgeHammer, they're not just treating wastewater, they're transforming it. They have their cutting edge microbiology that they introduced into conventional septic systems, and they are completely making innovational waves in the world of environmental engineering. Their secret, it's not necessarily high tech hardware, it's smart biology. And this is developed by Dr. Wickham. And they call it the SludgeHammer blend. It's a powerful proprietary mix of naturally occurring bacteria that supercharges your existing septic system, turning it into one of the most effective and eco-friendly wastewater treatment systems on the planet. And something that I haven't mentioned about SludgeHammer that's really interesting, you can become a part of their installer network partnership program. So if you reach out to them and ask them for more info on that, it can be a great revenue stream for your business, but also a great option to introduce advanced septic solutions to your customers and your clients. There's many friends I know that work with SludgeHammer that a big piece of their business is installing the SludgeHammer system and the SludgeHammer blend. So reach out to them. Great friends of ours, great friends of the program here, huge sponsors. And I know a lot of you guys use them and will continue using them just because they are on the cutting edge of technology. So easiest way to get a hold of them, shoot them a message on Instagram at SludgeHammer Group Ltd. Let them know you heard on the Dirtbags podcast, and also ask about their installer network partnership program. Or, of course, if you just want to learn more behind the scenes, go to their website, sludgehammer.net. They just launched a brand new website, rolled it out. It is beautiful and it has everything you need on there. So reach out to them. They're incredible people, incredible supporters of the podcast, and they made this episode happen. So thank you, SludgeHammer. Thank you for supporting this podcast. Let's get back to it with episode 102 and the man himself, Arnaud Hild. Yeah, I love it. Earlier in the show, you also mentioned helicopter flying in some fuel. How often are helicopters used on these job sites? I mean, it's so new to me and maybe to others, but like, how often do you see a helicopter coming in and bringing in supplies or anything like that?
There's been one flying over me for the past 3 days right now, nonstop.
That's awesome.
Flying concrete, flying forms, flying rebars, flying anything, It happens quite often, actually, like whenever you do a fence for rock stabilization or landslide and all that, you need to bring, if you don't have enough reach, then with a telehandler or something like that, then you need to have a helicopter, or you cannot go to that specific area with a spider because of, I don't know what, a plan that you don't want to disturb the ground or something like that, then yeah, you need to use a helicopter. So quite often I looked at project in helicopters too. I mean, go look at a big power line jobs, and the quickest way to get at it, it's by the air, so you just hop in the helicopter, look at it, go back, and yeah, that's it. So we see them often, we work with them often. When the helicopter shows up on a job site, you're no longer the cool kid with the spider. Everybody
Yeah.
wants to see the helicopter. But
Yeah.
no, we kind of work, and often with the same pilots too, and the same birds. Because
Wow.
yeah, so we hang around them quite often.
Yeah. Is there ever a situation, because obviously the spider excavator is like, there's smaller and bigger sizes. Is there ever a situation where a bird can pick that up and
Yeah,
drop it somewhere?
we have the smallest spiders. I think it weighs about 4,200 pounds. That
Wow.
one's a Euromark. It's a baby spider, and that one can be lifted up with the helicopter and be landed wherever it's needed. We're looking at a project right now that we might gonna have to do that, just because there's no access at all. Whether it's at the top, the bottom, the sides. I mean, there's just no way we can. You can barely access on foot. So we are looking at that too right now. Maybe pick up a smaller machine, or you can get a machine that you can actually deassemble, in three
Hmm.
parts to be a little lighter. It always depends, with the helicopter, it's always hard, whether the altitude will be an issue, so they cannot pick up very heavy, if it's too hot outside or all that. So yeah, we're looking into that as well. Yeah.
Just always problem solving something.
You have to, with the cool toys too, that's what keeps it awesome to me.
Yeah, that's so cool. Um, would love to hear a little bit more too. What would you say is a misconception that people have? Like, obviously, a lot of what we're talking about is all the cool stuff, the fancy stuff, the spider excavators. What do you think people maybe don't understand, or what are some of the harder parts of the industry, or being an operator, or trying to build this type of business in your eyes?
It's always trying to convince people that, um, for the situation that they are in, the spider will be the best solution. But
Hmm.
I mean, of course, it's more expensive to bring a spider on a job than bring a regular excavator, by the
Hmm.
hourly, daily, monthly, whichever you want to bill it. And there's always that mentality of the old timer, like, I don't need that shit. Like, I can do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, in most situations, you could do it with a conventional piece of equipment, but do you have an extra 3 weeks to build a road?
Mm.
and create a big scar into a mountain that people's going to have to stare at for the next 5 to 10 years, where we can just come and you wouldn't even know that the spider was there, so it's the convincing part of it, really trying to show people that that's what they need. And I mean, picture is a good way to explain it, but I feel like that when we get a call and we book a flight ticket right there and then and try to set up a meeting for the next week, the next day, or in the next couple of hours, it shows that we are involved and we do want to help you out. We do want to be there. Traveling is not a problem. We can hop a machine on the truck and send it overnight if needed, depending on where it's at, of course. But yeah, convincing just that it will be the best solution for you.
Yeah, I feel like when something's so new and it's probably too difficult, like you can't have that shiny object syndrome where you want to just, okay, let's get a 309 and let's do some of this work and show them, but staying true to the path of what you guys are really good at
Yep.
and what you want to be doing. I suppose that's probably difficult as well to not go the traditional route. And I guess another thing I wanted to ask you too is what type of technology are you guys using inside? Are you guys using GPS?
We don't right now. You
Mm-hmm.
can do it on spiders. It's been done. Some people are running it out there right now. Um, I didn't find a need for it just yet.
Right. That's
If
kind of
it
what I was wondering.
if it comes to it, I mean, we're not against putting it in a machine, but I mean, it's got a cost. Each machine. If you want to put that on each machine, it'll be about 150 grand per piece of equipment.
Yeah.
You got to learn how to use it and all that too. So far, we haven't really found the need for it.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, the new option that we opt for on the new machines was a remote control for the winch.
Okay.
For that, you needed to be in the cab to actually pay in and pay out your hydraulic winch. As of right now, you can have one guy or two guys outside with a remote and pulling as you walk and all that. So make your life a little easier. But
Yeah.
no, we don't have GPS right now. We're not against it. It's just I don't just need it just yet.
Right. Yeah. And I wondered, that's kind of why I asked too, because it seems like the style of work is so different
Mhm.
and that you would know. And yeah, maybe someday or some project there would be more of a need. But
Yep.
with most of the projects you've been on, seem to not have a need for it necessarily.
I could have used it here, but
Okay.
I mean, it worked just fine without it.
Yeah.
The traditional way with the good old laser and the great rod, and it worked out just fine. So we're pouring concrete, so that means something worked out okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, we could have used it, but we're thinking about it. We'll see what next year looks like and what's the demand out there. But
For sure.
nothing's impossible. We can add and remove anything we want. But right
Yeah.
now, I'm in the middle of the trees doing some veg management stuff. You don't want to have your GPS out there in the branches getting knocked out and stuff, so
Right.
it's just, yeah, maybe in the future. As of right now, I mean, we don't need it more than that.
Right. What type of advice would you have for somebody that wants to, let's take a stab at it this way, like somebody that wants to get into the specialty arena, like maybe somebody that's in more of a traditional company right now, they're running it and they're listening to this podcast. They're like, I kind of want to go more of the specialty route,
Mhm.
similar to what you guys are doing. What would you say to them as a piece of advice?
Find a company that will put the time and the effort into you.
Mm-hmm.
There is people that jumped on spiders before they even ran a regular piece of equipment, which is totally fine. Sometimes starting green is better than trying to correct bad habit on people.
Yeah.
Um, just depends what you want to do. There's a ton of companies out there with spiders, and some are specialized into ski lift, some are specialized into drilling, some are going to be specialized into tree removals or river restoration. Just
Mm-hmm.
find a you want to be into the specialty equipment, specialty wear. Just ask yourself what you want to do with that.
What's I was curious. I was thinking about this before we started. Do you have a favorite job you've been on, or like maybe a favorite place that you've gotten to work that was just either unique or beautiful, or one of your favorites for a different reason?
I'm trying to think about it. There's many places that I just love going back if I can. I mean,
Yeah.
I did a project in Alaska, ski resort in Alaska. That was pretty cool. Just being out there. It wasn't for NPA. I was working for another contractor at the time.
Hmm.
Hawaii is pretty cool too to be out there. It's not for me full time, but here and
Hmm.
there, it's actually pretty cool to go. I mean,
Is like, would
every
you,
job is so different that I like all of them. There's not one that I ever was. No, I'm never gonna come back.
yeah,
There's some days where you get frustrated because nothing goes the right way and all that, but I mean, we're pretty lucky, man, as far as working in cool places, fancy ski area during the summer
yeah.
where there's nobody and all that. Landslide in California, that was pretty intense too. Now on top of my head so far, I don't know.
The California one was that your steepest one? Because that one was unreal.
I don't think that one was the steepest. It was pretty steep, but I think at the top it was at 52 degrees, 52, 53 degrees, just the very top. After that, it mellowed down into 45 degrees, but it was just unstable. It was an
Yeah.
active landslide. Then I think I posted a video of it where the ground just gave up in front of you. And I mean, you're not in control of that.
Did
That's
you?
that's that's the hardest part of this job is sometimes you don't control that. You hook up your winch at the top, you didn't pay
Mhm.
attention, you knock off a rock by moving the winch or something, just comes back into your cab or smash the windows or stuff like that. That was pretty crazy.
Yeah, because
Oh,
the one
there was steepest one than that, I think.
really
Yeah.
the one that California one, I feel like the videos and the pictures did it some justice, but probably not to what it actually was. But I remember seeing those and it was just like, okay, that is to see a machine on that slope was hard to believe.
No, it was definitely steep and all, but it wasn't the worst one. Nah. No, I don't think that was the steepest. That's probably I've done quite a bit of jobs. I cannot remember all of them.
Yeah, and when you guys are out in Hawaii, is it concentrated on one island, or do you guys go to multiple islands, or where's
No,
most of that
essentially
work?
between Oahu and Maui right now. I know
Hmm.
Pierre's looking at different projects on different islands as well, but Maui and Oahu, that's where Pierre's got office and yards and all this
Hmm.
stuff. So that's mostly what we do out there. But the work is different too out there. We can be drilling, and right now he's doing some trail building, so removing all the veg, building the trail with the spiders. So yeah, it's a little bit everywhere.
Do you guys get calls for like natural disasters, like cleanup?
Not really, for some reason. I tried to get into it, but
Hmm.
it seems like there's so many people involved into it. They have their old way to do stuff,
Hmm.
grapple trucks, skid steers, excavators, top grinders. And it seems like when natural disaster happen, everything's already fucked at this point. Whether
Yeah.
it's the slope, whether it's the river, whether it's anything, they don't really care to bring another machine into the slope and tearing everything down and rebuilding.
Hmm.
But they don't really care about having a lower footprint, a lower impact onto all that. So now we haven't really worked into that just yet. But I mean, we haven't put many efforts into it either.
Right. Yeah, I was just curious too with and I think I see that too because when a natural disaster occurs, luckily seemingly there's a lot of people that want to help
Yes.
and which is great, of course, where obviously you guys would be a lot more specialized and maybe if there's a situation where it is on the side of a mountain or something like that where you guys could actually get up there and be a lot more useful. But like you said, if the river and everything is already destroyed, you might not need as the specialty equipment out there.
That's the thing. I mean, I can see a spider be more than useful on those type of stuff, but it's always the same. Like you say, it's a small. I feel like it's also a small community,
Yeah.
natural disaster business, and everybody knows each other. They've been working together for so long. It's been working out great for them. Why would they
Hmm.
change? Try something different. I'm sure there's going to be time where it's going to be necessary, but as of right now, we haven't really pushed hard into it. It's more the after fact, rebuilding a slope, doing some stabilization, whether it's micropiling, soil nail, shotcrete after that and all that, that's where we could be more useful than, let's say, 24 hours after the flooding happened or the hurricane
Right.
just went through or something like that.
Yeah, gotcha. And then you mentioned this earlier too, but when you are kind of looking to position these spiders throughout the country, for the most part, they've been just busy job to job. Would they have a home base in Colorado
Yeah,
typically?
Telluride will be our home base for that.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So like, I suppose between Telluride and then probably Hawaii too would be like another home base, or mainly Colorado.
We got a yard that we have access to in California that we can park stuff if needed,
Hmm.
We don't use it all the time. But other than that, I mean, we know people on the East Coast as well that if really there's a need for it, but there's also other company out there that have spiders. It's their territory, I'm not here to try to steal everybody's
Yeah,
work either. But we got places where we could stage stuff if we see that that's where it's going to be needed the most. It's
gotcha.
hard to predict, so I don't want to have to pay 10 grand to ship it one way, let it sit for a few months in the hope that something's going to pop out.
Right.
So
Yeah.
that's the tricky part.
All right, you dirtbags. One last sponsorship for this episode. Have to give a shout out and an ad read for our own company, Phaser Marketing. Had a few people reach out to me and ask more about Phaser. They know what we do, but also mentioned we should talk about it a little bit more on the show. And so I figured sneak in a 30-second ad read for you guys because this is our livelihood. This is what we do and what we get to do every day. And so basically, if you own a 6, 7, or 8-figure excavation company, hardscaping company, or septic company, our team takes over your online presence. What does that mean? We take over your website, how people find you on Google and other AI platforms like ChatGPT. We also manage your paid ads. That might be Google pay-per-click ads or PPC, Facebook, Instagram, Meta ads, that kind of stuff. We don't do the organic postings, but we take care of all paid ads on the Meta side. And then, of course, we have a dedicated client success specialist or an account manager for every one of our clients. Phaser, we currently work with over 80 clients in North America. They're all in this industry, and most of them listen to the podcast. And without all of their support for what we're doing in the industry, this couldn't be possible. So if you guys are looking at your business and you're doing, usually we say 800,000 in revenue or more, and you're really looking to step it up next year, you're looking to really grab your business, take control of it, and you need a team to help with that, that's where our team comes in. All of our pricing's on our website. I definitely recommend our phase one program. It is $18.95 per month, and that will be going up January 1st. So the sooner you get in, the better your price will be. And you can always shoot me a text too if you have questions or you want to jump on a call with Joe, who does all of our sales. My number is 218-234-7345. Be happy to answer any questions, but thank you guys for supporting the Dirtbags podcast, supporting Phaser Marketing, and really just doing everything you can to take care of your people around you, take care of your clients, and just be a great addition to society. Thank you guys for listening. Let's get back to it. The man, Arnaud Hild, episode 102. Yeah, and I feel like that's the nature of the business is the call comes in, you have to be ready to say, yeah, how many spider, or you have to know the situations too, but also be quick on the trigger of like, yep, in
Yep.
1 week I can have a spider on the ground and we can
Exactly. Yep.
start working. And then for your deadlines, are they a lot of times open-ended, or how do those work? Or is it mainly, do you have an idea this will be 3 weeks or 2 weeks?
It's always starting with, we only have 2 weeks, so we only have that much money in the budget for it. And it's nine times out of 10, everything is doubled because again, oh, I didn't know you could do that. Oh, you can put a drill. you can put a bucket, a grapple. So you think you can do that while you're here? We didn't know a machine
Be
like
like,
that
yeah,
can do that. It's just, it happens a lot. So we know when we go out there, we never really know when we're going to be done, except on the railroad. The railroad contracts are different. They have
yep,
budgets. So we know when we start, we know we have to be done before the end of the year because that's when they do their budget. Other than that, they're super flexible too, but we have a rough idea of we start here. If we work this many days, we're gonna be done here pretty much.
get as much done as you
Yep.
can
Yeah,
clearing. Yeah,
unless something else pop up while we are out there. Last year I was doing some veg management, and then they had some monsoon, so we had to do some cover cleanup, ditching, do all that stuff too. So while we were on site, we did that. But no, as far as deadline, I mean, there is always a deadline, but
yeah,
it seems like it's never an issue when you can actually do stuff like, oh, well, let me push all that. Let me talk to the engineer and all that. We can probably redesign that and redo that. Like most of the time, you're the last resort. Like I said, they
hmm,
already tried everything and it's not working, but something needs to happen. So they give you, they ask you of what would you do, because that's what you guys are specialized into it, and that's what I love about it is trying to help people out solving those issues that they have. Like a landslide turned to a complete erosion control project after we got done grading the slope and removing all the loose material. We added some drainage. We did some drilling to drain the mountain and all that. So it just expanded so much more that what it was expected at first. So that's the beauty of it. I love that.
yeah. Like you guys truly are the experts, and I would say a few notches up from what maybe they're normally used to working with because there's not many companies that do this and have this type of
Exactly.
equipment. Was the monsoon? Was that in Arizona?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one thing that a lot of people don't realize is we have like a very short window of a monsoon season, and then
But it's brutal.
it's crazy. And then I don't know if anyone saw in the news, but we had a huge haboob the other day,
What's that?
and I didn't know what it was till we moved here, but
Oh,
it's
is it a big dust wall coming to you? Yeah, I heard of
yeah,
that. I heard the
it's
name. I was like, what?
it's like an apocalyptic dust storm. And this was just a few weeks ago. And we get the notification on your phone, of course. And I had to drop some packages off. I was mailing, I think, just some merch or something. And the post office is like a mile from my house. And I was like, I went outside and you could see it. Like it's just like dark, sandy clouds, like
Mhm.
kind of in the distance. And I'm like, I can make it. It's a mile. And so I drive my truck down to the post office. And yeah, it's clear skies behind you. And over here, it's like a Tatooine dust storm that is just like a huge ball. And I quickly run in, drop off the packages, get in my truck, and you could see everything moving. And so I was like, oh no, I don't think I'm going to make it. And as I'm driving home, it like whooshes over you, and all of a sudden there's just like it's like a dust storm with some rain and lightning and super windy, and then visibility goes to zero.
Wow.
And it was crazy. And obviously I got home luckily, and there's a video out there, and if anyone's still listening to the podcast, like there's a Southwest Airlines pilot leaving out of Phoenix, and the haboob was like right behind him. He's like, all right, I'm gonna send it, and you see him taking off with it right behind him. But it was insane. So monsoon season and then haboobs, we get them
Yeah,
here, but
it's a real thing. It's a
it's
real thing in Arizona.
it's crazy. And so that was when you were on the railroad during that.
Yep, yep.
Yeah, so that probably slows everything down, I suppose.
Not really. It seems like everybody's so used to it. Oh yeah, monsoon's coming and it's just drenching.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody's happy. It's cooling off a little bit, then it gets
Yeah.
super humid, then everything goes back to normal. It's like 30 minute, 40 minute or something, and that's it. But yeah, I mean, it just goes like crazy.
Yeah, it is so quick too. It's not like all night usually or anything. It just hits quick and it leaves, and that's it. And usually that's the only rain we get for the year.
Yeah.
So, oh man, I love it. What else do you have planned? Um, I guess more so in your personal life too. Any things you're looking forward to? You mentioned your daughters were 5 and 3.
Mhm.
Uh, anything you're excited about for like the family life or school or anything like that? What does that look like?
Well, this year I got to be home for their first day at school. I mean, they're going
Nice.
pre-K, so
Yeah.
I made that happen, which was fantastic. Was happy to share that. For some people it's normal. For me, it's not. I missed a lot of
Hmm.
birthday, first time doing anything. I get a lot of pictures and FaceTimes, but I do miss a lot on that, and so I try to be as present as I can. We did celebrate my oldest daughter's birthday 10 days earlier because I was home.
Oh,
But
nice.
I mean,
I
hell,
mean,
it's just a
no,
date, man. Who cares?
no kid is going to complain about celebrating 10 days early.
No, and I don't even think she realizes it. It's just we were there, we threw a party for her. It was great. Friends came up and she was happy. And like I said, they were here with me for 2 months. It seems like this time I left and they were just like, man, bye, dad. We'll see
Yeah.
you again soon. Whether
Yeah.
it's usually a little harder than that. It seems like it's getting harder and harder on me than it is on them,
Hmm.
which is scary. They're getting not numb to it, but what my wife has been doing for so long is always telling my kids, daddy's leaving, but daddy always comes back, and that feels like
Hmm.
she keep that spirits alive. And it's just, yeah, without Jess, man, I wouldn't be nothing.
Yeah.
Without my
No,
wife, I wouldn't be nothing.
that's so awesome, man. Yeah. It, it would be very, very, very difficult to do what you're doing without her support and everything. I mean, just
Yeah.
it's,
And it's just like in business, I wouldn't be
yeah.
anything without Pierre and Nico. They have years of knowledge on top of me, like different areas and all that, which I think that's what makes that so great. Everybody kind of brings the stones to the fort of trying to build something,
Hmm.
sometimes in a different way or sometimes different ideas, but at the end we all agree for the most part. And I mean, I'm so grateful that I got to meet them. I would have never met Pierre if it wasn't for Nico. And man, I just met Nico through Facebook, I think. He was a
Yeah.
guy in the US that had a spider. We were chatting. I saw a picture on Facebook, said hello, something, and it started like that. So it's just now I'm super grateful for a lot of people in my life. I mean, the people that I worked with before and all
Hmm.
that. I mean, it taught me so much, and it's just I hope that one day I can do that too.
Yeah. I mean, it makes you into the man that you are today. Is
100%.
all of your experiences, good and bad. I mean,
Sure.
it's not all great either, but that somehow shaped you into who you are today and how you carry yourself and how you treat others and just the type of person you are.
I agree, man. I agree. Good and bad, like you said. And I mean, there's been some bad ones too, but hey, we'll figure it out, right? You
Yeah.
have to. I don't have
Heck
the
yeah.
luxury of sitting in my couch and crying and saying like, "Oh man, life is too hard." Or no, I can't do that, man. I've got people depending on me. I feel like. So,
Absolutely. I mean,
oh man,
you definitely do. And then what a scary thing if you didn't, if you didn't have anyone depending on you. Like it's a beautiful thing to have that responsibility.
yeah,
And
the greatest
if you don't, it's got to come from yourself.
for
If you
sure.
don't have other people that rely on that, but you got to dig deep and do that for yourself as well. But makes it just a little bit easier when you have those other people that you're doing it for as
Yeah.
well. And it's
And I
not,
mean, we get so lucky and so fortunate to travel. And I mean, I don't think I can recall meeting somebody that I was just like, I can't stand the guy or something. Like, yeah, I mean, some people are different and stuff, but when you travel like that, you usually work with people that travel as well. So they have the same lifestyle than you and
yeah.
they understand. And everybody always try to make it easier for each other. And this is what is fantastic. It's just like that phone call that I just had is a guy he's gonna be stranded. He lives like 3 hours away. He was gonna go home, and he just asked me if he could crash for the night because he's gonna be working late and shit. It's just stuff like that, man. You get to
That's
meet
awesome.
great people. I've got friends all over this country, and I think this is incredible. I
Dude,
can
that's so
I
cool.
can call people in every different time zone that I can think of. And I think that's man, you're a rich man when you got that. So many connections, so many people with different knowledge, life experience, good and bad as well. It just no, I'm super grateful for all that.
Yeah. And dude, we just can't thank you enough. Like, this is something we've wanted to do for a long time, is have you on the show. Like, obviously, big piece of it is, of course, talk about the spider excavators, but another piece is just connecting you with all of our listeners. And so, like I mentioned earlier in the show, guys, if definitely connect with Arnaud, ArnaudHild on
There you go.
Instagram. And then, of course, LinkedIn. I mean, your stuff is awesome. Like, the
Thank you.
the content you put out there, the pictures, but also just the way you structure it is so good. And I know I appreciate having you in my life and just getting to have you as a friend, get to work with you, Nico and Pierre, but also, of course, doing this podcast was just so awesome. I've been really looking forward to this and super excited that we got to make it happen. And
Yeah, man.
thank you for
Thank
being
you.
on the
No,
show.
thank you for everything. Like it's great, man. I hope it's gonna be many more, and I hope we get to meet again. Whether it's ConExpo or anywhere. And yeah, why don't you come to Utah or wherever
We'll
we
make it
go
happen.
next, man? That would be sick.
I was telling our team too, because you and I were talking about it. Yeah, like you're out in Utah. Like, let me
Mhm.
grab Josie or Chad or Joe or somebody, and like let's go visit you, and just so also our team can see more of the day to day life of what you go through. Because I feel very blessed. Like, I get to hang out with all of our clients quite a bit, but to expose our team to more of that and less of the photos and videos and more of the day to day of like what
Yeah,
truly goes on. And a lot of times too, it's when things are breaking all
yeah.
the
The
time.
good, the bad, and the ugly. Didn't I
Yeah.
break something when you show?
Yeah.
Yeah, something was broken in Arizona. It's just it's part of it, man. You gotta learn how to embrace the suck.
Yeah.
That's the thing. And it's not gonna get any better if you don't get a better attitude and get your head out of your ass and go fix it. It's just that's the beauty of it. Like for
Yeah.
anybody that wants to jump on the spider, I mean, come on over with me. It's like I said, it's awesome when it runs, but when it doesn't, that's where it really gonna either make it or break it. It's just it can be really bad.
Yeah. But like you said, embrace the suck. The attitude you bring into it. I mean, you got to be prepared for those types of things, as prepared as you can be.
You're never
And
enough, man. You never prepared enough. You think you are, you not.
yeah.
It's
Yeah.
it's crazy.
So yeah. And then I'm sure too, when you have a day where nothing goes wrong, it's like the best day ever.
Oh, absolutely. You just you kind of worried for the day after, like
Yeah.
everything went smooth today. And
Like, too well.
yeah. That's a trap, man. That something's gonna happen tomorrow. So
Yeah, dude, I love it. But man, thank you again. Thank you guys for listening. If you've made it this far in the episode, this is episode number 102 with our guy, Arnaud Hild. Definitely reach out to him. He's a great friend of mine, obviously a wealth of knowledge in this industry. And Arnaud, thank you so much for your time tonight, Friday night. Nowhere else I'd rather spend it than having this conversation with you. I was looking forward to this, and time always flies when we talk, and I just appreciate it so much, and excited to run it back again, maybe for episode 146,
there you
and
go.
we'll have a second one.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thanks for having me. And yeah, if anybody has any questions, just please reach out, man.
Heck yeah, dude. All right, man. Appreciate it. And everyone, thank you for listening. Don't forget to like and subscribe, especially if you made it this far. And we'll see you on episode 103. Let's go.
Cheers, man.